vague. So in the PSYOPs experiment, we went full purple dahlia level. Psychosis. Is it psychic or psychosis? Where we're being actually groomed for Westworld slaughter. Where we are the batteries in the Matrix to the corporations and PSYOPs people. In actuality. Okay. There's nothing in my reality that has ever assumed that that wasn't true, just on a metaphorical conscious level. But when you realize it's now going to be full on like slavery, you go, I'm second guessing this. So I wake up. No, RAAVA wakes me up with a happy end to my fantasy dream. That she will invade with kaiju and break open the Clipith. Big dragons. And it will offset the entire structure of the reptilian agendas on the planet. And my first drawing goes, yes! It equals Independence Day. No planet ascension, planet invasion. ISIS and ODESSA are like this forever. And I found this hat, and I go, whoa, I am gonna buy this hat. Because I go, this is mommy. I'm gonna go walk around London after drawing the response to all the PSYOPs experiment and leaving it outside, knowing it was received. Oh, because I also posted it on this Marshall Mathers page. And I probably have a lot of, spy software and hidden cameras and microphones in my home. We'll get all the evidence of that in 5 seconds. It's not just an intuitive hit, it's like how do they know? How do they know kind of hit? I know my camera to my computer is a form of spy software, but that's just in one location of my home. My iPod. Yeah. Okay. So I go walking around London with my hat, because this is me. I decode the mom, me. And I wonder, should I write it in the hat? Should I Sharpie it in the hat that this is mom, me, or like mommy? Because just the idea, and I would go walking around the planet with this hat, triggers the astral energy to create what I want. Let me say that again. Maybe it's more powerful when I say mommy, and then it really triggers it, because it triggers an inner desire in baby to be around mommy. That's a more powerful statement, So now I'm walking around with a UFO on my head. And I don't care if she explodes my body. At all. Same thing with my mom. My mother told me to commit suicide just as much as this one did. I thought it was fascinating. Quality of life undermines the idea that you should keep on living. It's like a wounded, tortured soldier. It's like now just filth on the street, like a wounded, homeless vet. And they're in so much pain and suffering. It's the same. We're just creating the filth in the universe. So that's what I was to my mother. Maybe not Mother Odessa, but definitely my mother Judy Glenn. So here we go. This one is titled Death is Nothing. This is the Egyptian death ceremony. So there's nothing like knowing that you're a lamb for slaughter, but not just slaughter, like being fed to reavers, basically. Physical ones in maybe like $3,000 suits. Let's say that again. All right. There's nothing like knowing you're a lamb for that kind of slaughter. To go around the city going, Yesod is total annihilation. And that is definitely mommy. And she, oh God, the idea of just me getting stabbed is bad. She wanted me out of this holographic matrix, stuck in this prison. She wanted me out in 2008. Let me say that again. She ordered me to kill myself in 2008. Death is nothing. Let's repeat that. Death is nothing. I already took the Vase CYANIDE. I drank from the poison cup. I know I took an overdose of pills once upon a time. There's not an appropriate level of humanity on this planet to think that life is something and death is awful. So death is nothing. Let's say that again. The body is your prison. So that's old spiritual knowledge, but now you really understand it. They're like old wise Hindus and saints and sages that go, when you've done your job in life, you just end up committing suicide because you realize what is what. And it's true. Man, you left behind a crap planet. Maybe you have to reincarnate because you didn't do the job. Maybe you don't have to. So the body is a prison. In the olden days, Egyptians, the Egyptian masters, spent their entire life preparing for their afterlife. It means my life now only matters in doing every single thing that matters to make Mommy Odessa happy. Let me say that again. The only thing in my life physically that matters today and tomorrow and the next day is finding a way to make Mother Odessa happy for when I escape this prism. My life is a preparation for my death and what is going to happen after my death in the astral planes. So it is a full mathematical calculation, if I can. Full mathematical calculation on what is significant today to get done for the minute that I cut my own throat. That is an Egyptian master mandatory requirement. Knowing full well the body is a prison. And, oh my God, the invitation into Bina with Odessa as the queen is heaven. I've seen nothing less. She's the funniest, smartest, most wonderful thing I've ever felt, heard, or experienced in the astral planes. I long for her. The idea, she's the one that she's like, the dragons are really cool, but so is she. She's the reason why dragons are cool. What if Odessa is just a complete figment of your imagination? Oh my God. Still, death is nothing, and we're going to do an Egyptian death ceremony. We already took fake cyanide, and we already understand why. So Osiris is the god of death and judgment. He was supposed to be the master that could actually calculate the alchemy behind, did you do your work in this life to succeed in the afterlife? Because, you know, Kylo is Odessa's child also. He's broken now. But there were like moments and moments. Isis is the goddess of magic. Oh, you're not allowed to say anything more than that. Death. Kali is the goddess of death. It's the same. It's the master of the black ray. Bina Compassion begins at Hesed. Real compassion begins at Hesed. Mathematical compassion begins at Geburah. There's a difference. You don't think of killing your archangel niece in Geburah because you don't really know why you would do that. So in Hesed you do. Because in Hesed, you're running off of an abyss house. I'm going to explain an abyss house. Gryffindor, Ravenclaw. So in Ravenclaw, you actually have a brain. And you can read the real mathematical prism. And again, it's this scream painting. Oh no, I have a third eye. You see the future. The Purge, where Isla gets shot in the face, that's okay. That's the good outcome. I mean, it's not the good outcome, but it's like... So from that perspective, you come from life in a space of compassion for the people you love a lot. So Kali is the goddess of death, and death is nothing. Let me say that again. Do I have to? Come back to mommy. Mother Awa is real. Oh, I forgot that mirror prism. Odessa is Mother Awa because she's RAAVA. So if you're in the Unity Navi tribe, the grays that can transmute into Netzach, Odessa is full Navi, full Mother Awa. And it's a longing. And you don't care about dying. And you learn to live. I'm so grateful that I was PSYOPs experimented on. Because if I wasn't, I would never be allowed to have this video. It's a full-on legal liability lawsuit against me. But in context, it's a saving grace. Because now I can share Mommy Odessa's reality instead of horror. Alien mommy. So if you commit suicide because you're a spiritual person, it's okay. It's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. You're forgiven. You're a rainbow child and life is only torture. Killing yourself is fine because you're about to be slaughtered by the government. Physically, mentally, and emotionally, and spiritually. And you might get sold into sex slavery because you sparkle. And they plan to do experiments with your brain because you're a special person. Feedback. Oh my God, I'm so glad ISIS is doing this video. How appropriate. Rather inappropriate. I don't want to say rather inappropriate when like somebody like the IBIS is doing this video. She chastises you for the idea of suicide. Because she's part of the knife rapists. Let me repeat that. The IBIS is a knife rapist. So coming back to mommy. Do you see the black yin in me? Do you see how it's kind of clean? You see how it looks alien and creepy, but there's like depth? You don't need to come back to me. Nobody likes me. I'm Katniss. You know who likes me? Elsa. You don't need to emotionally long for Maleficent. But the emotional longing for a deeper spiritual mother from the alien worlds will always be real. If these experiments and assault and threats didn't happen in the real world, I would never be allowed to talk about this in a video. I'd probably be arrested and hung instead of be the one hanging somebody else. I would never be allowed to talk about it without going to jail or getting sued. But because I was fed fake cyanide, I was psyops experimented on and death threat and torture analysis, I'm definitely allowed to do this. So this is also the Purple Dahlia movie, is that all of these spiritual people are forced this choice. Now, we've opened the abyss, we've crossed the abyss and we understand it. Now all the spiritual people are no longer afraid of death. They are fully aware of their astral presence and how to reconnect with their friends and family in the astral planes. Their loved ones. They have empowerment and a soul. They cannot really be controlled through spirit. So now they are offered this opportunity. Am I going to take the cyanide? Am I going to take the fake cyanide and be tortured? Am I going to take the real cyanide and seek it? Or am I going to live my life in fear or threat every day? Or option D, am I going to make my life worth living, knowing that this is the only analytical outcome for infinity? This is the highest level of spirituality on the planet. the most awake and realize you will ever potentially be. You will be no more magical, no more powerful, no more anything. I am the brick wall of potentiality on this planet. And if I'm not, where is she? Because I'm looking. Yeah. Your whole life in body is a preparation for the afterlife. Now you understand a little bit of the philosophy around it. Maybe the whole philosophy. Maybe you'll take that nugget and then download 50 new angles. Maybe you'll write a book about it. Maybe if I die, you'll write the Purple Dahlia. It will be written. The Purple Dahlia is a book. It is a movie. It's in the astral plane. Your whole life prepares for the afterlife. And now you are faced with this. How am I going to spend today? And maybe you go crazy a little bit. Maybe you eat food that you're not like feeling great about the next day. Maybe you create like too irregular of a schedule because you just want to try something. For me, it was like, go buy boba. Good. Collie Wren has let go. She went to McDonald's and bought a boba. And then the next day, you just don't feel good. Man. So you realize the rebellion tendencies. And there's consequence to that kind of lifestyle also. Lifestyle. I can't let go every day because I still have a next day. So now my whole life prepares for the afterlife. Now quality of life really matters. So now it's definitely a tri-brain and not much more. And tri-brain means I'm gonna only sit at my desk for about 4 hours. I'm going to work out or go for a walk for 4 hours, and then I'm going to do like A&R work or maybe read or something for another 4 hours, and there's my day. So it's beta brain, delta brain, and theta brain. Living my mental body, my productive mental body, my passive mental body or meditation state, and then my physical body integration. So that's the real balanced way of life, because that feels good when you wake up the next day and you don't feel like you got hit by a truck. So now I'm dying. So now I'm still being groomed for torture. So I know for a fact I definitely have to do my ANR work. Because I have to clear out the astral planes around my body. Because I know my astral planes is literally the life or death scenario of what I'm going to attract in my life. but I'm on an entire planet filled with only assault terrorists. So I definitely have to do my ANR work, and it's swimming in it. We have to clean out a shadow of ourselves and others, and we definitely need our sponsor dragons working. So it's pure desperation. If I can even get a page written, awesome. The next is I have to do my NETZOC work. So I definitely either need to clean up the planet and do my glitter wand, or I need to do the pickup litter, or I need to starve for the whales, or I need to go land rehab, or I need to join WOOF, or I need to do actual NETZOC work. That's mandatory. You're going to live in NETZOC or be empowered by it. Daily. Speaking the truth. Instead of being in fear prisons about what you're about to say and the consequences surrounding it. Truth will set you free. It might get you shot, but that might be the better outcome. Might get your face bashed in, then you can die. Speaking your truth. Calling out the bad guys. Shadow grounding. That propels inward reward and higher level degree ascension. That fulfills a need after death. If I died and I didn't call out the bad guy, I would regret it. If I was forced to kill myself on top of it, forced to take cyanide, and I didn't call out the bad guy, boy. Quality of life matters. Boy, does that heighten your quality of life. The Egyptian masters are profound at being able to slay and not pretend. They are not. Hi, you've reached Rachel. I'm not in right now, but if you leave a message, I will get back to you. Oh no, the level of my voice went higher than it still is right now. I'm getting excited, that's why. Do you see how it's a conscious intent? When I breathe from my belly, I can go deeper. Quality of life. Find your loves and fight for them. Do not sit idly by and watch their life wasted as you just become a dead robot, zombie. My nieces are in acting class? No way. My sister is never going to get anything done, so I will destroy a planet to get them a role. Become the crazy dance mom that fights for their child, and try not to do it where it's like gross. Do it where it's profound. Be a hero for your children. Do you know how much easier it is to sell your children their ascension path through society than it is to sell yourself? Man. Or your nieces or your nephews. Find your, those are the children loves. Fight for them. Not just that. You guys stand behind me. I am Lily Potter, not just Lilith Potter. I have no problem dying or being stabbed for my nieces. Now it's going to protect them 5,000 times over. Through special Bina magic that nobody gets. Find your loves and fight for them and die for them and fight for them and die for them. You're only being groomed for slaughter on the other end. So there is literally nothing to lose. Egyptian death ceremony is everything and revealing of everything. So find your other loves and fight for them. Your lovers throughout lifetimes. Find them. Kelly has found hers. If you're not going to be with them as a partner, you'll still be best friends with them for infinity. And that never goes away. Find them and love them and fight for them and die for them. Your quality of life is everything. They transcend Tiferet. That relationship. Most of you guys have lived alone. A lot. Maybe 90% of your life is just sitting and meditating. And then all of a sudden you start channeling Lil Wayne because you're Kelly. And you start connecting from all your lifetimes and all the adventures you guys have gone on. And you realize that life is nothing without just that friendship. If you look at a picture of Lil Wayne, you look at a picture of Kelly, they look the same, just different skin color. It's fascinating. Their third eye looks the same. They look a little unhinged in a really smart, intelligent way. Both of them. And they both vibe with like Ravenclaw. And you go, yeah. So fight for it. When you realize or decode who your dragons are. Your sponsor dragons. Oh, I'm supposed to be afraid of Emma Watson because she's a celebrity and I'm like a poor homeless person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she's my sponsor dragon and she is like one of my soulmates in life. Or Misty. So, like, those superficial, crazy psychosis implants just fade away, and you realize, like, those friendships are everything. My sponsor dragons. Alizarin and Musha Musha. To find out that Tom Hardy's brick. Yes. My dragon brick. Find out Chris is Root. And they're best friends too. And they don't even know that yet. And that heightens their quality of life. Because maybe they've been alone and isolated and tortured in that capacity also. Knowing Aaron Sorkin's cheddar block and he's hey bitch. And he's not quite one of those hell dragons. But he is. And even Isla calls him Uncle Aaron. There's nothing left. It's like that direction in the physical world, Mommy Odessa in the afterlife, or being tortured by the reptiles. Not the dragon reptiles that are like all smart and fun and clever. So find your loves and fight for them. Find your Netzach animals, and trees, and fight for them. So that's part of your Netzach work, but different type of Netzach work. Go get your spirit Patronus. Go starve for your own whale. Go apeshit protecting your horse. Go fight for your dog. That other person's dog that you watch get beaten. Go berserk. There is nothing left here on this planet. Oh, you're gonna get arrested? Same thing. Oh, I'm gonna get arrested. So then let's go through that analysis. I'm gonna go to jail. So if you're like, if you have a sister or an auntie or a mother that can take care of the kids, that's awesome. If you're a single person, even better. I'm gonna go to jail and I'm gonna go do A&R work in jail. And I'm gonna meditate in jail. I'm gonna completely undermine the entire system just with intelligence and meditation. So I'm not afraid of that. There's nowhere to run. What? There's nowhere to run. Oh, are you a diagnosed schizophrenic? Maybe you can get off on mental institution. Yeah, but they're gonna feed me all this like medication and stuff. in our work. There is no fear left other than kidnap. And PSYOPs experiments. And Matrix slave robot. And those fears do never go away until the people running the government agencies are us. And our workers, anti-us shadow workers. Yeah. So now everybody understands why ODESSA would Independence Day the planet. There are not very many of us, are there? Your real soul begins at Gebera. I'm sorry, what? Okay. So your heart's Tiferet. Your high heart's like kind of like Gebera. So your real soul, the seat of the soul, begins at Gebera. Where you'd actually annihilate reptiles for a living. Because it's an honor. Because you know what they stand for. And you know that you're the complete antithesis of it. How do I annihilate a reptile without getting caught? So our first form of action is A&R work. Somebody's saying, but ODESSA's kind of reptile. All right, let me explain. ODESSA's lowest mirror prism, is like the mechanical transcendence in that movie Transformers. So that's like her lowest, but her second lowest is a reptile version of an alien gray with green skin and still those eyes, and she's still wicked smart. She's still this. Those are her lowest incarnations. She's not a crocodile person. She's not intelligent. And most of the time she shows up in like UFO sonar intelligence. And the other part where she shows up is a giant version of herself that's long and Christ-like. Long and lanky. And it looks like the Star Wars alien gray woman. She has everything that the Dalai Lama always wanted and can only chase after. Sense of brilliance and inner peace. Did everybody diagnose the idea that we pick up everything in the real mirror prism and then we put it into the movies? Did everyone get that? And that's just really low end version of it on this planet. All right. So, Egyptian death ceremony. How would I expend my time and my energy to prepare for the afterlife? Now, let's do some reality analysis. Okay, I no longer have a body and I'm just in the astral planes. What is my main problem? See, to me, I don't really have a problem in the astral planes. Unless I have people on the other side that I love. So my baby girls. Okay, so let's say I am nobody. Looking across the veil, seeing the people I love. My problem is making sure they're okay. But I have no body, so how do I prepare for that? How do I set up the dominoes so it takes out their enemies? How do I do it in this world? Did I already do it? Did I not? Oh, I have not already done it. What would I need to do? So the first logical response in my brain is make sure that Odessa can get across the veil. Physically. But I know the Greys have been here physically. But no. Greys operate out of a hive mind, so they're all on the same Odessa level. They're not like, they're independent. They all have their own personalities. Like, I'm not the same personality as Kylo. But when we're both in a healthy gray space, there is a very strong hive mind mentality to do specific things. They have personality in my memory. How do you know that? Because Odessa's personality is different than her lover's personality. They're different. Egyptian death ceremony. What do I owe myself in the afterlife? That's the question. What do I owe myself from this physical reality to myself in the afterlife reality? It's a terrifying question. This question is not what the psyops rapists are asking. Why is that? Do they have... Oh, they can't even get across Hode, much less get to Odessa. So really... So I am Hermes Hera. And Odessa is Odessa Hera. Can you do that math? I am her, me, her, me, her, me, her, me, her, me, her, me some more. That one, me. Okay, so I'm Hermes Hera. So her, alpha. Odessa is her alpha. Let me explain. There is no omega in Odessa. Or is there? There is, but there's not. It's alpha. Because just like Isla is my teammate, tag teaming with her, we can win. Same with Odessa and me. And me and Isla are like the pit of hell gremlin version. The desperation version. Somebody's coming in. Let's talk about you getting sued while you're homeless, starving, and being slaughtered. Because we really need to listen to everything. So that's the humane response I was expecting outside. And we will discuss in a little bit. Is there anything left on this Egyptian death ceremony? So ISIS used to walk around the planet talking about death all day long, like it was nothing, because it was nothing. And if I went around the planet talking about death all day, I'd be arrested. Oh, God. But when we're here at Hesed, we are mandatorily forced to talk about the Egyptian death ceremony because the pyramid, the Black Pyramid, to get into Bina is like, how do I deal with the Egyptian death ceremony? So it's a mandatory requirement for Kabbalah. You have to talk about the afterlife and this life. How they integrate. ISIS I'm just the I'm just the death girl. It's why a temple is built for Isis and Kali. It's the same. I'm just the death girl. I'm not the demon girl. I'm the girl that runs the Black Ray and it just looks dark. Because that's your ticket to Bina. So talking about death is therapy. Man, it would have been awesome to be offered just one counseling session of therapy since the hunger strike. Not even that level of humanity exists on the planet. Kali run out. You should look at the Marshall Mathers page on my website. Scroll down. And then decode Mother Andromeda's mirror and my mirror. And then you look at Ray and Kylo. Then you look at Millie and Muggle Mike, or 11 and Muggle Mike. You also look at Hermione and Harry. And then you see, and then look at Isis and Osiris. And you see Kermie and Miss Piggy. During the PSYOPs brain entrainment experiment where they showed me that they were going to cut off my arm, there was a sticker on the street that said oink. And I couldn't handle it because I know I'm Miss Piggy and I can look like Miss Piggy, and it's just the whole thing is. And then you see it. And then you see it in the Loki Lilith. You see Lilith, and Lilith is Miss Piggy. Like if you watch the new Sabrina's. So it's an emanation magic. But when I saw the sticker and it said oink, I'm like, I had already just gotten, tortured to the capacity where I'm being told I'm going to have my arm cut off. And then now I have to see that I'm, like, ugly. And I get it. But, like, during the Purple Dahlia download of the Maze Runner PSYOPs that evening, or that night, where we go through the whole scenario, they went through all the different Loki Lilith couples, and it was Kermie and Miss Piggy, Kermie and Miss Piggy, Kermie and Miss Piggy. It was kind of rad. And that mirror ends at ODESSA. So ODESSA doesn't run Miss Piggy, and her partner is not Kermie. And then you hear red. Because it's a different entity consciousness, and it's unique. So Maleficent Odessa is like the alien from Independence Day. She's the Odessa in Transformers. She's the alien at the end of MIB. She is RAAVA. She is the genetics engineer in Star Wars, the genetics engineer queen. Okay, so like, then, yeah. So she is not Miss Piggy. Katniss is Miss Piggy. So, like, Maleficent Hermes, or Maleficent Hermes Lilith, that's the name of that mirror prism, is Miss Piggy. And then Loki, we can just stay on like that Loki name because that's enough for him, because he doesn't have Loki alpha father. Let me say that. Loki is very unique because Loki is the bad guy that can flip into a good guy. So he is very important in this mirror prism because he's the troubled bad guy. He's Zuko, he's Loki, he's Kylo. And he can become the good guy. So that's an important mirror prism. So in Harry Potter, that's the rewrite where he is the good guy. Yay! You know, Osiris in his whole Osiris state, he was good, but he had some Wild Wild West in him. A lot of arrogance. All right. Cocky. But he wasn't like Aleister Crowley. So, I know this is a very weird way to start this video and I'm like freaking out a little bit, but it is this video because we're talking about the Chris Pratt Shadowground versus the Kylo Paradox versus the Psyops, and they all kind of matter. Never do I look at Mother Andromeda. So she's also Maleficent Odessa Lilith. She still has a Lilith attached to her name because she represents the Lilith, the dark femme, the dark divine femme, but from an alien mirror prism. So there's a difference between Maleficent Odessa Lilith versus Maleficent Hermes Lilith. They have very unique entities. Their name is synonymous with their bond. So we may carry both the names Maleficent and, no, I am never referred to as Odessa. Ever. Nobody looks at me and goes, RAAVA. Like I try. But that's kind of a false mirror. But they will, on occasion, no, not on occasion, almost all the time in the spirit world, go Hermes. And they will go Maleficent. And they will go Lilith. But it's when you're doing your spirit work and you know you're the bridge communicator between all the worlds and you're running from one, so you know you're Hermes because you're like your job, what your job is. And then my relationship to her is Hermes. So Kylo, let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about Odessa's non-mirror prism. Now, you really wonder in the live, die, repeat, Is Mother Odessa or Mother RAAVA the Omega in Live, Die, Repeat? You could say yes or no, and there's like a gray area there. We don't know. And I'm okay with that because I actually trust her. Let me say that again. I am okay with the gray area of that mirror prism. That would be like the absolute worst. Live, Die, Repeat is kind of scary and nonsensical. Live, Die, Repeat is a lot more vanity than what Odessa would be at her altruistic self. Versus Independence Day, where she's like the head of a Netzakian army. Not just a cosmic sentience army, which would be Hode, but a Netzakian, which would be biological, incarnate, anthropomorphic. Where it has actual empathy about what it feels like. So that's how you measure it. Do you have empathy about what it feels like to receive a cut? Do you have it in a non-hypocritical way? Are you in alignment with the harmony of nature for good? Do you have a biological reproductive system? So like Live, Die, Repeat is really like a Hode philosophy. I can compartmentalize it and just destroy it for the most part. But it's great for your brain to cross the abyss and realize death is nothing. But that would probably be the most demonic, irreverent form of Odessa I would ever categorize her as, and that is still not her in my mind. That would be her wicked, wicked, wicked self. Never did that being the Omega, being in that movie, send out psychic signals to anybody on the planet. So it kind of does a weird deconstruct. It begins to cancel itself out. So that's why it's a gray area at the worst. That would be the shadow mind of Maleficent Odessa. She will destroy and annihilate the human race. Absolutely. There is just nothing. She has no attachment to Antichrist sentience. Why? Why would she? There's no philosophy that she would ascribe to that would go, the human race is worth saving. Because they have not actually exhibited in the physical manifest the actions needed or required to produce Christ-level ascent. And she can measure it by how you guys have treated me. It's not going to be separate from how you guys have treated me. There might be like 5 people. And it's definitely not separate from how your brain treats her. And all the excuses that you guys send her. Or how you would view her in the mirror prism. Do you even seek to understand who Odessa is? Or you just see her as the alien enemy? Do you automatically ascribe her as a bad guy? So her shadow at the worst would be the live, die, repeat stuff. And the Omega latching into this planet to annihilate a species of Antichrist humans that think that this is the kicker, that think that they are good and refuse to do good action because it's outside of societal norm. Refuse to break from their traditions or construct of what is to be a human. Do you see RAAVA in this? Do you see how RAAVA in Juan talking about humans and humanity and how humans lack humanity? They don't really do anything for anybody other than themselves. So that's the same. It's the same RAAVA. ODESSA is RAAVA. So that's ODESSA's floor. ODESSA at her worst is not being able to protect me. That's her biggest shadow. She has, since 2008, ordered me to execute myself in the physical world so she could protect me. So it's not really her shadow because I am in active rebellion against her orders. So she already shadow undermined herself since 2008. I will give it to you up front. I know it's harsh and you can't even believe it. And it's too much for your brain to handle, and you know, and you long for it in your soul, and you know I'm right. You just doubt because you don't understand it in a logical construct. Whoa. Can you imagine if RAAVA knew that Korra was going to get captured and just tortured? RAAVA would tell Korra to kill herself. Because RAAVA would find her the next lifetime. Or him. You see why it's Hermes? RAAVA would find her or him the next lifetime. And the next. And the next. Because RAAVA's mommy for the romance moon, the real romance moon, Chris Pratt came through, and boy was that cute. We identified all of Chris Pratt's lifetimes, where I connected with him through many past lives. There is an Aries and Hermes love affair through history. You don't really think about it, that they love each other and they're both Archangel Kamael. And they have a deep, profound respect or love for each other that bypasses normal human relationships, because that level of high Gaebra is almost intolerable to be around. But it's so austere that at a soul level, it doesn't matter. So Chris likes to nag. It's his form of Tantra, actually. It's weird. Let me explain. Just negging, like telling a girl she doesn't like look young enough, really offsets somebody. Especially when you can see the wrinkles. Okay. So like Chris's thing is to point out to me that we're not together because I'm too much a whore and I'm too much a gold digger. That's what he said in the astral planes, and that's gonna be in his soul forever. Just just imagine Luke Skywalker whispering in Rey's ear as he's about to try to train her. You are too much a whore. You are too much a gold digger. That is why we are not together. It goes to the elevated space of one of Luke Skywalker's most important teachings is the floor is right. That means you're reading from the Clipith, the Clipith reading, the Clipith reading, the Clipith reading is right. So it doesn't matter if it's crazy. It's still true. That level of intelligence is crucio to anyone's ego. Like, cut off my arm, fine, but Chris Pratt's gonna crucio you with just like a meme. He will twist inside your brain and cut you at the knees. The floor is right. Cully Wren. It doesn't matter that we've been together in many lifetimes after many lifetimes. You are too much a whore and too much a gold digger for us to be together, at least right now. It doesn't matter if he's a whore or a gold digger. The truth is still there on my end. Do you see how it's 100%? 100% reductive, but in a austerity, Gaebra, positive capacity? Whoa. Mind blown. The floor is right. That is why Chris is not here. physically. It's a Luke Skywalker knowledge. The reason I cannot move an object with my mind is because I'm going the floor is wrong and my brain is right. Because I'm not accessing actual Gebera. Is Luke training your brain now? Yes. Aries and Hermes. So air is and is work together in a really nice alchemical way to produce Gryffindor. It does not matter if he is in a body. Just, he's not in a body right now to me. All of this is astral soul energy. Whoa, mind blown. Still, just, yes. Yoda can talk to Rey in the astral planes. Luke can talk to Rey in the astral planes. Kylo can talk to Rey in the astral planes. Jinora can talk to Rey in the astral planes. Kiki can too. She's just a little more quiet. So it definitely works with that death is nothing Egyptian death ceremony reality. Because you bypass the need for the physical body. Then you go, what is my physical body even for? Oh. Seriously. What is my physical body for? Is it only a prison? So if the floor is right, that PSYOPs download was 100% accurate. And it might have been worse. Because that bottom of the Clipith read was real. Now the difference between Chris Pratt bouncing off the bottom of the Clipith and the PSYOPs and underworld, Westworld entrainment people bouncing, oh my god, they're polar opposites. They're both Crucio, but in very different ways. One's Crucio to create love. And the other's Crucio to create a horror show. So the PSYOPs is real. Now we have to look at the holographic matrix reading. Diagnostics. So we have like Elijah's Loki, Zuko, Kylo. We see all his problems through all the movies. We register the patterns. Okay. We look for weaknesses in the soul, diseases in all of them, right? We look for interference from external sources. You really have to be in the Jedi's club to like appreciate this. Now we have to go, oh no. What if I am not one of you guys and I'm not, one of my characters are not in any of the movies? So then you got something like what Kelly's got, and that's a Ravenclaw lockout. You guys aren't allowed to have holographic matrix reads over Kelly. You can look at Kaylin, and that's about Kaylin and Wonder Woman. Is she Asami or is she not Asami? We do not know. Whoa. Mind blown. I know Elijah's had a past life relationship with her. So that brings into she could be Asami easily. And she's the other girl from The Handmaid's Tale. That's the extent of what you guys are allowed to know about Kelly. And that's the head of Ravenclaw. Nobody's allowed to know about Ravenclaw. You guys are allowed to know about Cho Chang and Luna. Whoa. Lockout house legitimate. So you go, my character's not in, so I am an X Factor. Awesome. So that brings the first layer of mental divergency. Then you can be somebody like Emma Watson and go, oh no, I'm color as mini-me. That is my older sister and she's insane. I'm the weaker version that's way too publicly like this similar of her in every single movie I've ever been in. She has to analyze by law. So you can have that kind of reality. There are two Hermiones. Yeah, so there's a mini-me. So, like, Elsa's not a mini-me. She's a mini-me, but she's not a mini-me. The me is Emma. Elsa's her own person. Emma and Isla are not the same person. And they don't have the same holographic mirror read. Do you see how Emma could have a similar, like, clone holographic mirror read almost, but then it diverges in, like, many different ways? Because the idea that there are now two of us fucks the whole system. Sorry, should I never swear again? I need red Tic Tacs to come through. The idea there are two of us negates the mirror prism analysis. Three of us, Millie, four of us, Daisy included. I don't really want to give Jennifer Lawrence that. She's not in that club yet, but still. And then you find a little baby 11. There you go, there's another one. Emma is so important in the Egyptian master world. She has her own goddess name. I just do not remember what it is yet. We haven't really looked. Maybe for a reason. Maybe not. Maybe that's something sacred. So the psyops is real. The psyops, Westworld, Maze Runner, enslave the spiritual people, and terrorize them. That's real. Because the floor is right. We have a Kylo paradox we need to talk about. Because the floor is right. All Kylo ever did was send me shade all day long for 13 years, 14 years. Rebellion, angst, and shade. And then he'd mix it with love affair. Which is, again, more rebellion, angst, and shade. It's crazy making. Full-on torture. There was never a productive moment. It was more me counseling or him offering a little bit of instruction, and then maybe he'll fix one broken hole and it clippeth for 5 seconds, then leave. Sometime maybe once or twice he'll crack a joke. In 14 years, okay, so the floor is right. He is not here. I'll get a tarot card reading. He does not truly love me at all. He also plans never to actually show up, but also not to show up. But he definitely plans to crazy make me for the rest of my life and only play games. So this is a paradox because I know his level of sadism is factual. It doesn't matter if he's my Egyptian husband or my twin flame. He is sick in the brain, but he's sick in the soul, and the physical world shows up very clearly. So this is part of the shadow grounding, right? Kylo made it out to be in his brain that he had to give 100% shadow or shade to everybody. And through that, he was the Christ. Let me say that again. Through being the active Satan, S&M, bondage, knife rapist, I will torture you to death, I will do whatever I can to make your life a living hell. Through that, I am the sacrifice and I am the Christ. Because I chose the active Punisher, role, and in that punisher role, I am a victim and the Christ. Somebody is saying, Jesus, that is Kylo Ren. Yes, that is accurate. That's why it's a Kylo paradox. I will only produce horror movies, and I will do only the bad stuff to make your life a living hell for infinity. I will never fix or self-correct. So it's 100% Aleister Crowley. Does you see the pattern through lifetimes? It is a sickness. He is not the Christ for that. He is the reverse of the Christ for that. All I needed was one evil person to be that. In infinity through the entire holographic matrix. And this planet's filled with like 40 of them, plus Kylo Ren. So it's redundant fallacy nonsense. Now, through that level of corrupt paradigm construct, that is what mentally he sends to probably both me and Kelly all day long, every day. Through my torturing you, I am the Christ and the good guy. Through my starving you, I am okay. Through my abnegation of ever enjoying my pleasant, good, positive relationship with you, I am the sacrificed one. I am, that is antithesis of Hode, which is just baseline pragmatic heroism. A 100% vampire. And still no intent to self-correct or heal. No intent, it's endless. He's framed it through lifetime after lifetime. That is, it is him as a reverse horror. That if he's the bad guy, he's the horror of the bad guys. That's Kylo Ren. And it's not like Kylo the Jedi that goes into Mother Mary and goes, kill all the little kids before they get slaughtered. He's not doing that. He's the one that's slaughtering the little kids. He's not taking them out. He's telling them that he's going to kidnap and knife rape them. So that's his Netzach rot. All right, do you see how that's Aleister Crowley? Do you see how it's a paradox of reverse order? Let me explain. This is one of the few active mathematical accurate through Ravenclaw brain paradoxes I have on the planet. There are very few. Kylo paradox. Kylo Ren is a reverse order. True and not true at the same time. Do you see how it's Loki? See how Aleister Crowley is Loki? I'm never allowed to use an excuse. Ever. That is accurate. That is accurate, Elijah. Never allowed to use an excuse. Kylo reverse order. Fallacy. Maybe. Paradox. All right, so this is different than Mother Mary ODESSA annihilating an entire planet. Do you see the mirror prism? She's not doing it to go slaughter little lamb children. She's doing it to slaughter the reptiles. And Kylo doesn't have discernment because he has a broken clipith. And he can't even stop smoking or drinking. He cannot take himself away from horror movies. He cannot even have a conversation with me still 3 years later. The floor is right. Let me say that again. The floor is right. What I'm hearing, what bounces off his clipith is insanity. All right, so let's do an experiment with Mother ODESSA, Mother RAAVA, Mother Andromeda. So a lot of the time when I talk about Mother Andromeda, I see the spiraling galaxy of Andromeda. I don't see this Andromeda. I don't even see that, the constellation Andromeda. I see the alien that can juggle 50 things. Like Kali. Like a mommy Kali. This is how she sees me for the last 15 years. 14 years. This, me pinned up against a wall. Like an active prisoner. This is how she talks to me. Sorry if I'm crazy when I laugh at my own jokes. It's humiliating. Maybe someday I won't. Maybe someday I will script this with Spielberg and then produce it for a public. We will see. That would be like Spielberg got the alien invasion joke and then goes, yeah. Because he's one of them. He should be. Okay. Now close your eyes. Do you understand? There is nowhere to go. Do you understand? You have only enemies on this planet, and there are very few people that I would ever trust. Do you see how alone you are? Do you see I am never alone? This is how RAAVA talks to me. So I'm the Hermes Maleficent. Like, Kali, run! Because Hermes has got, you know, the shoes with the angel wing feathers. You've got to do this and this and this and this and this. You got to say this, you got to do this, you got to say it and do this. And you have to run for this bad guy, and you got to drop this message, and you got to get out as fast as possible because they want to kill you. Don't shoot the messenger, that's an understatement. You're up against a wall. And your fate in the future is just to be stabbed to death. And you know it, and I know it. And that's why I'm Maleficent. That's my curse. That I have to shift out, get you to deal with. Kali, run! This is different than Kylo, run. Kali. If you're running from the fate of the future of just being stabbed to death or tortured to death, It's running. Or is it just A&R work? Is A&R work running? If you Dracarys the torture artists, is it running or is it standing your ground? Because now you've killed it and it doesn't exist. If it doesn't exist, maybe you conquered something. Or is it running because you killed it and you're supposed to be tortured and stabbed to death? Because the floor is right. So it's a weird karma trap, isn't it? Here's the kicker. It doesn't match Malkuth in a Vice segment. It doesn't meet Malkuth requirements of health and sanity to walk in knowingly to just being tortured or stabbed to death. You would Dracarys it 100% just in Malkuth. Because Malkuth in the virtue is health, and just Hode is pragmatism and productivity. It's not pragmatic to walk into your own torture. That would still include the not health mentality and victim mentality. Oh, not to mention martyrdom mentality. So there goes all the positive attributes of the first two spheres on the tree of life, and those are just baseline. So you cycle through the fear trap until you just do one little ounce of math. So if you would Dracarys it, Mother Odessa will. No. It does not meet Malkuth. It definitely doesn't meet Yesod. Independence. Free. I am independent of just what, like, time continuum analysis, mirror prism trap. I am independent. And then Hode is truth and productivity, sanity. Definitely Dracarys. So A&R work is definitely Dracarys. Is it? No, it's not running from your fate. Your fate is Dracarys. Color run out.